This is the standard. This is Stratford. Welcome back to the wheel.
Listen, I love a good underdog story as much as the next guy, provided that guy is a friggin' masochist. But Sunday at Old Trafford, this isn't a football match, it's a scheduled system maintenance. And Crystal Palace are the corrupted files we're about to select all and delete. While Michael Carrick has spent the last 7 days at Carrington fine-tuning our 325 telemetry like a caffeinated watchmaker, Oliver Glasner and his merry men spent Thursday night in... What the hell is this? Mostar? Bosnia? Look, I'm sure Mostar is lovely this time of year if you enjoy 1500-mile transit lags and a 64-hour recovery window. But for a Premier League OS, that's not a preparation cycle, that's a thermal throttle. Palace aren't coming here with a game plan. They're coming here with a low battery warning and a massive recovery glitch. Let's talk about the Glasner script. The man has already hit exit without saving on his career at Palace, confirming he's out at the end of the season. They're currently running on a legacy kernel with exactly 0 future updates scheduled. They're basically a Windows 95 laptop trying to run a 2026 tactical simulation while the battery is at 3% and the charger is somewhere still in South London. So do we actually execute a 90-minute breach this time? Or do we spend the first half buffering like we did against Everton? Today, we decompile the fatigue glitch, the Šeško brute force start, and why Leny Yoro is the only antivirus we need for Palace's desperate please don't relegate us counter-attack script. The code is ready. Are you? Alright, let's re-decompile the Palace defensive kernel. And this time I've purged the legacy cache. Let's focus on the actual hardware Oliver Glasner is trying to boot up on Sunday, assuming their Wi-Fi doesn't cut out on the turnstiles. Glasner is still hard coding that 3421 architecture, but let's be real, it's a system running on 2% battery. While their best assets are sold off to higher tier clusters, the entire burden of the firewall falls on Maxence Lacroix. He's essentially a high-end i9 processor trying to keep a motherboard from 2018 from melting down. He's got the recovery speed of a gazelle on caffeine, but even he can't patch the massive gaps left by Chris Richards and Chaji Riyad when they're hit with a 64-hour recovery lag. Palace aren't coming to Old Trafford to compete, they're here to partition the pitch and pray for a timeout. They'll drop into a 5-4-1 low block, essentially turning the 18-yard box into a read-only zone. They want to bait our 3-2-5 into that seductive soul-crushing U-loop. They'll let Maguire and Yoro exchange 400 meaningless short-range packets, hoping we get bored, lose focus, and allow Adam Wharton, the only player in their midfield who isn't a 404 error, to intercept a pass and trigger a counter script. Their offensive strategy is basically long-range desperation, YOLO ball. Since they lack the bandwidth for sustained build-up, they'll try to bypass our midfield entirely by launching long-range pings to Ismail Assar or Yeremy Pino. They're looking for a physics glitch in our high line. One mistimed step from Yoro or a momentary lag from Maguire, and they think they've got a breach. But here's the logical reality check. If we move at 0.5x speed again, we aren't controlling the game. We're just providing Palace with a comfortable armchair while they wait for us to commit a system error. We need to stop trying to decrypt their block with 1,000 sideways passes and start brute forcing the half spaces. If we don't disconnect Wharton from the game early, we're just running a very expensive, very red screensaver for 90 minutes. We don't need a scalpel to fix this. We need to overload their circuit board until it blows a fuse. Now let's talk about the personnel patch. If you're still screaming in the comments that we need to start Ahmad against a 5-man low block, you're not playing logic ball, you're playing vibe ball. And frankly, your tactical ELO is showing. Don't get me wrong, Ahmad is a high-spec precision tool, but against Everton he was essentially a 404 error. Why? Because you don't use a laser cutter to break through a rusted iron gate. Ahmad needs space, he needs bandwidth. And Palace's defense, even with their 64-hour recovery lag, is a set of heavy physical bolts. If we start him, we are just inviting another 60 minutes of loading animations while he gets crowded out by two banks of four. Enter Benjamin Šeško. 6 foot 4 inches of pure unadulterated brute force code. Starting him isn't just a tactical choice, it's a mandatory system update. He doesn't ask for permission to enter the box, he just physically uninstalls whoever is standing there. By starting Šeško, we turn Palace's centre backs into panic-induced processors. He pins them, he bullies them, and most importantly, he creates that half-space buffer that allows Bruno and Mbomo to actually operate. So look at the telemetry, alright? 6 goals in 7 games. He's averaging a goal every 68 minutes since the Carrick reboot. Starting Ahmad is optimization for aesthetics. Starting Šeško is optimization for results. Unless you enjoy watching 70% possession result in 0 shots on target, the choice is binary. We reboot the lineup, we start the giant, we move Ahmad to the super sub partition for the 75th minute when Palace's batteries hit 5% and their firewalls are literally melting. The system doesn't need grace right now. It needs a force quit on Palace's clean sheet. Now let's talk about the defensive kernel. Palace's only path to a result on Sunday is a system glitch in our transition. They aren't here to outplay us. They're here to wait for a packet loss event in our midfield and then sprint into the void. This is where Leny Yoro becomes the ultimate antivirus. Palace have integrated Jeremy Pino into their frontline script. Yep, a high output Spanish manufactured exploit that lives for those 1v1 moments. If you've been watching the telemetry, you know this kid isn't just playing football. He's running a real-time predictive simulation. While Pino is trying to find a creative exploit in the half spaces, Yoro is reading the game at 120 FPS while Pino is still trying to buffer his first touch. Pino is dangerous if you give him time to load his creative.exe file. But Yoro doesn't give you time. He deraces passing lanes before the ball even leaves the boot. And Ismail Assar, he's all about raw throughput, but let's be honest again. Raw speed is useless if the firewall is already positioned exactly where you're trying to go. We saw it against Everton. 100% tackle success. 0 times dribble pass. That wasn't just a good game. That was an elite defensive patch. For Palace to score, they need a physics error from Maguire or a momentary lag from Casemiro. But with Yoro acting as the primary system security, Palace's counterattacks are going to feel like they're trying to download a 100 GB file on a 56 kbps modem. If Yoro stays online, Palace's search for a goal is going to return a 404 not found. Simulation complete. What we have here isn't a clash. It's a scheduled deletion. We have a Palace squad running on 3% battery and a manager who's already cleared his desk versus a United side that's finally stopped buffering and started executing. My final score simulation, United 2, Palace 0. Expect a first half brute force breach from Šeško. I'm talking a header so violent it'll leave Maxence Lacroix questioning his life choices and his insurance policy. We'll follow that up with a Bruno Fernandes long-range packet in the 78th minute to officially force quit the game once Palace's recovery lag finally hits 100% and their legs turn into jelly. Carrick is about to make it 6 games unbeaten. The 3-2-5 becomes the league's most stable OS, and we continue our march towards the top 4 cluster. If you're still betting against this hardware, Your tactical ELO is basically in the double digits, and you're probably still using Internet Explorer to check out the live scores. Don't be that guy. Hit subscribe if you want the data. Skip if you are happy with the vibes. I'll see you at the post-match decompile to see if the reality matched my code. The Stratford standard is online and the system is decompiled. Let's go, boys. Glory, glory, Manchester United.